Hi and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, thanks for stopping by. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to take the pre-painted Xanathar that appears in the WizKids Icons of the Realm Waterdeep Dragon Heist, there's your mouthful right there, and how you can make him into something just a little bit more than how he shows up in his original form. Now if you take a look over here, I'm going to share some pictures with you. This is what he looks like when he comes out of the box. Really not that bad, looks kind of good, but what I wanted to do was enhance him a little bit more. So this is what I did to him. I've put him on a desk base that has not only the little accessories you'll see on Xanathar's guide, but also his buddy Sylgar. So if you want to be able to do this as well, sit tight and stay here with me, and I'll show you how it's done. I'll see you in a little bit. Bye. Here you have Xanathar fresh from the pre-painted mini box. Keep in mind the tips I'm showing you here are applicable to the ones I received. You may decide to do more or less depending on your own pre-painted Xanathar. Also, you should decide if you want to go ahead and place him on the desk base or keep him on the original. If you decide to remove him, carefully use a utility knife and score the clear stem from the black base. Then carefully wiggle it free from the base. Use a firm hand, not brute strength. There are 5 steps I'm going to cover with you to take care of the touch-ups. To glint the eyes, it'll help to get a manicured dot tool. These help provide more precise placement of paint. Using a white paint, dip the tool in the paint and then dot the eyes on the stalks. Try to get placement relatively in the same area of all of your eyes. Next, using a gold metallic paint, touch up the rings around the 2 eye stalks. For the eyelid, I used a violet purple paint to deepen the look of the eye in the socket. You want to keep this color in the corners and the creases of the lid. Now let's address the teeth. I first brought them back to a pure white since some of the paint from the lips ended up on the teeth. I then added a cherry red paint to the gums for the same reason. Next, take a beige tone paint and dry brush that over the teeth to age them, and then use a light pink on the gums. At this point, we will start the washes, and I do recommend this kit from Citadel. It contains all the washes I will use and then some. For the mouth, you'll use the Agrax Earthshade wash. Let it dry. He should end up with a grin that looks far more like the book cover. For his head, you want to use the Cassandra Yellow and the Drakenhof Nightshade. It helps to mount onto a bottle or the like with some blue tack if you have removed him from the original base. We'll start first with the Cassandra, and you will see here how to apply the wash. Don't go too heavy with it, make sure it gets into the grooves, and keep it to where there is yellow paint on Xanathar. Allow this to dry upside down and remove any wash that may have gotten onto the stem as you go with a clean, damp brush. When dry, you should be able to see the details better. If you want a more drastic look, I then suggest you use the sepia wash from the same kit instead. Now let's take care of the eye stalks and crown of the head with Nightshade. Start at the top of each stalk and work the wash down towards the crown. Use whatever wash may already be ready on the crown from the stalks and spread it around where there is blue on Xanathar. You can also add a thin layer of this blue wash to his lids. Allow this to dry upright. Taking clear Elmer's glue, what you're then going to do is add a layer of this to all of the eyes and a coating to the mouth and teeth to give them all a shine. When that's dry, you're ready to go on to the next phase with this Kitbash. When making Sylgar, it helped to take a look at the book cover for reference. What you will need to create the fishbowl are 5 filigree bead caps and a small round spacer, as well as a clear round marble, the female side of a barrel jewelry clasp, and E6000. Taking one of the bead caps, put a small dot of E6000 inside, then attach it to the marble. Let that dry a bit before doing the same with the second cap and putting it on top of the first one. Next, you're going to take another bead cap but place it on the opposite side of the marble, doing your best to keep it evenly placed and help create a top and bottom of the bowl. When that cap has dried, add a second cap over the bottom cap. Now take the barrel clasp and place it on top of the last bead cap to create the bowl base using a dot of E6000 and allow everything to dry completely. Once everything is dry, you are then going to attach the 2 pieces together. Make sure you allow it to dry upright so that the marble portion of the fishbowl sits nicely on top of the base portion of your fishbowl. When ready, you can now add Sylgar. What I did is use this particular paintbrush for him because of its ultra fine tip. To paint him, you're going to think of arrows. First, you'll paint a black arrow pointing to the right of the front side of your bowl. Then inside of that, you're going to paint a small white arrow. This is going to create his body. Then what you're going to do is paint a red arrow pointing up, but at the bottom of the black arrow, and you're going to put dashes of red at the point of the black arrow and at the inside of the white arrow, and then at the very top of the black arrow. And this is going to create the various fins that Sylgar has. Make sure this dries completely, and you're going to clear coat this with the Elmer's clear glue just to give it a protective surface. Additional accessories included here are the open box, what looks like arm bracers, the silver decoration, and the book and candle concept. To make the box, you will need some scrap foam core cut to 1/2 inch by 1/4 inch. You actually want to make 2 of these box shapes. For the lid, what you're going to do is take one of those box shapes and carefully use a utility knife to slice off what will be the lid for the top of the box. Using a hot glue gun, add a thin bead of glue to the lid and attach the lid to the top of the other piece of foam to create the box with the lid open. Now use a mechanical pencil to add in some details as seen on the box. I blocked out the corners as well as the inside of the box. Place a popsicle stick with blue tack onto the bottom of the box to make this easier to paint. What you're first going to do is add a coat of Mod Podge mixed with burnt umber, equal parts, and you're going to paint this onto the box to strengthen it. Allow this to dry completely. When dry, first paint the sides of the box in holiday green and the corners and lid in outrageous orange. Do not paint the inside of the box, but only the comparable edges. When that is dry, paint a thin layer of metallic blue pearl where it is green and pure gold where things were orange. Now for the treasure inside the box, use any glitter paint of your choice. I went with a clear base multicolor glitter blend and painted that inside of the box so it looks like the treasure. You should end up with something that looks like one on the cover. Granted, the filigree is not there. That's something you can try and add if you so choose. As for the arm bracers, those were easy. They're basically just barrel filigree bead spacers that came in the same pack as the other bead accessories. Keep them in a safe spot until you are ready to attach to the base. For the silver decoration, you're going to take 2 more of the same bead caps that were used for Slygar's bowl and an O-ring side of a jewelry bar clasp. You can paint the caps silver and then attach 1 to each side of the ring using E6000 and allow it to dry totally after you've placed 1 on either side. Finally, the book and candles were addressed using a mini from WizKids Deep Cuts Wizard Room Pack. I went with the one that had the 2 books with a skull and a candle stuck on top of the skull. To paint it, I again placed the mini on the popsicle stick and then painted it using the colors as you see here. However, you are free to paint this however you so choose. Just be sure that everything has a good coat on it, and once it is painted, I then edged the books in a little bit of gold and I did a wash using Citadel's Agrex Earth Shade and allow it to dry completely. At this point, if you're choosing to keep with a round base, you can attach these accessories to Xanathar's base using the same Gorilla Glue hot glue sticks and make sure everything is nice and secure using this particular style glue. However, if you want to go and use the desk style base, let's take a look at how that's done. To get started, it helps to know that the original base falls into the 2-inch size. To keep with that concept, you'll want a piece of double corrugated cardboard measuring 2 by 2 inches. With hot glue, attach cardboard to foam core and then trim away the excess foam with a fresh utility knife blade to ensure clean cuts. Taking wooden stir sticks, you will edge the base where the cardboard is attached with thin beads of hot glue. It helps to first attach 1 on opposite sides, trim away the excess, then attach stir sticks to the remaining 2 opposite sides and trim away excess for a more balanced appearance. Using a nail file, then round off the corners of the stir sticks and bevel the edge of the foam core carefully. For the tiger wood pattern on top of the desk, it helps to draw a couple of long squiggly lines and then fill in the pattern as you desire. It also helps to look at a picture of this style wood as a reference. Be sure to use only a mechanical pencil for this and not a ballpoint pen, as it will be too wide. When you are satisfied with your pattern, we can move on to painting it. First, you will need to coat the top and sides of the base with a mix of Mod Podge and burnt umber equal parts. When dry, we can move on to adding color. You will need a cosmetic wedge as well as a wide flat brush for this part of the process. The colors used are ripe tomato, golden sunset, real brown gloss style, and antique gold. Starting with ripe tomato, sponge a thin layer on top of the desk. With the same sponge, move on to golden sunset. You don't want to be very heavy-handed with these colors, but enough to have it be noticeable. Paint the stir sticks with the golden sunset. When dry, coat with a brown wash. My go-to recipe is below in the description. When that's dry, go and do a dry brush with the real brown gloss on top of the desk and sides, and then paint the wood with antique gold. When that's dry, you can then move on to a wash with Citadel Agrex Earthshade. Again, let that dry. Then you're going to take a fine tip brush and edge out the wood on the desk with Daffodil Yellow. Using the same color, you're going to take a small flat brush and you can add a light dry brush along the top and edges of the desk. But again, be very, very light-handed in this. You don't want it covering everything, just literally highlighting a couple points on the top of your desk. When that is totally dry, you're going to coat this with Elmer's clear glue. This is going to act as a varnish to the desk and give everything an extra shine. For best results, you will want to pin everything to give it a stronger hold on the base, especially Xanathar. That is, except for Sylgar. To do this, you will need sewing pins, jewelry pliers, a hand drill, super glue, and baking soda. Find a drill bit close to the size of your pins and then carefully bowl a hole into the clear stem of Xanathar as well as the Book and Skull Mini. You want to go deep enough that the pin will stay in when inserted, but you do not want to go all the way up and through. That would be bad. To secure the pins, take a drop of super glue and place over the hole, then insert the pin. Immediately sprinkle baking soda on top and give it a minute to take. You can then brush off the excess baking soda and carefully trim off the excess pin length, cut using the wire cutting feature on the jewelry pliers. If this pin is too long, it will puncture all the way through the base, so you want to make sure you take note of how long you want your pin to be. Remember to do this with the Book and Skull Mini as well. For the braces, you need to put a small amount of hot glue carefully inside each barrel spacer and quickly thread a pin through the glue and down and out of the spacer. Quickly angle the pin and allow the hot glue to set. Then, to be safe, add a small dot of super glue where the pin sticks out of the spacer and allow to dry before trimming off the excess pin length. For the silver decoration, you will need to take a pin and create an arch. To do this, use your jewelry pliers. Then what you can do is thread it through the decoration and secure it with a small dot of E6000 on both sides of the base of the decoration. Again, make sure that is dried completely. For the box, simply put a thin layer of hot glue onto the bottom of the box and stick 2 pins into the bottom of the box, being sure you don't go all the way through and up into where the treasure area is on the top of the box. Now, to attach these to the base, it helps to place each item as you go, first without glue to create a pilot hole, and then with glue. We're going to start with Xanathar and use the Gorilla Glue Extra Strength Hot Glue Sticks for all of this. Add some glue onto the bottom of his base around the pin and place him where you already created a pilot hole, making sure to position him in the direction you'd like his expression facing. Since Sylgar isn't pinned, you can fill the bottom bead cap with hot glue and position him in front of Xanathar so it looks as though Xanathar is looking at Sylgar. Then move on to the box. Again, same idea, add a layer of hot glue to the bottom of the box and place onto the desk base accordingly. Same can be done with the Book and Skulls Mini. For the braces, what you're going to do is a very tiny dot of hot glue at the bottom of each bracer, placed about where the pin is. You're going to put them in one at a time, make sure they're staggered a little bit. Once those have taken, you can then move over to the silver decoration. Again, be sure you place this in ahead of time to create a pilot hole. Then put a dab of hot glue onto the pilot hole and place the silver decoration directly on top of it. Hold until the glue hardens. You can cover any exposed bit of hot glue that may have popped out when placing this decoration onto the base and cover it with some silver metallic paint. And at this point, Xanathar is all set on his desk with his prized fish and findings. Let's give this a final look. And here we have Xanathar in his final look. This is something I really enjoy doing, and I hope it's something you can enjoy doing as well. If you have any questions about what you've seen today, please feel free to comment down below, or you can email me at thecraftingmuse.email@gmail.com. Don't forget to check out that description section as well. I've made sure there are links in there to help you out, as well as timestamps so you can go back to individual sections. If you've enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit that like button, and you are more than welcome to subscribe if you'd like to as well. That's it for me with this one, and I look forward to sharing another video with you soon. Have a good one. Now, before you go, I just want to tell you guys about something really cool that is happening in November. Myself, DM Scotty, and Wylock are all going to be down at the Mace convention that's happening in Charlotte, North Carolina, November 9th through 11th. We're being brought in as special guests, which means we're going to have a fun meet and greet panel. There's going to be a crafting competition. DM Scotty and Wylock are both going to be running games, and I'm going to be doing a couple of mini painting classes. So if you want a chance to get in on the fun, please be sure to check out the description down below where I have a link for Justice Productions. It's going to be a really fun event. I hear nothing but good things about Mace conventions from the past, so I hope it's something you can join us there with. Anyways, that is definitely it. There are bloopers. There's always bloopers, so be sure you go and watch that. Can't talk. What's a chicken? All right, your tickets and where you need to go and when everything's going to be happening. And give him his best butt. Give him his best bud. You know that ring light I got? Wouldn't turn on at all. I'm talking with Amazon right now about it. They can't send a replacement due to availability issues. So I'm back to my old lighting setup, which is basically just a whole bunch of different lamps shot this way. Fun times it is. I swear. You research thing out the wazoo, and you still have issues with it after. Fun times, folks. Fun times.